Something is quietly brewing in Las Vegas, and it could change everything for the Raiders. While most fans remain fixated on training camp headlines and rookie standouts, a seismic shift is taking place, and almost no one's talking about it. The calendar flipped to June, and with it came one of the most pivotal windows of the NFL offseason. On the surface, it may look like just another month, but in NFL front offices, June 1st represents a turning point that can quietly reshape the entire trajectory of a franchise. And right now, no team is better positioned to capitalize than the Raiders. Here's why it matters. Following June 1st, teams gain critical financial flexibility. They can release or trade players and spread out the dead money hit over 2 seasons instead of absorbing it all at once. That opens the door for surprise cuts, unexpected trades, and sudden shifts in roster dynamics across the league. While other franchises scramble to respond to the chaos, the Raiders are uniquely prepared. With over $36.2 million in cap space, the 4th most in the NFL, they're not just observers, they're poised to take control. That money represents more than just spending power, it's leverage. It gives the Raiders the rare ability to act swiftly while others wait for bargains. And if the front office moves wisely, this could be the moment that defines their season. But to do that, they'll need to target more than talent. They'll need to fix their most glaring vulnerabilities. Start with the one issue that isn't getting enough attention: free safety. It's not the kind of move that lights up social media, but it's arguably the most critical hole on the entire roster. In defensive coordinator Patrick Graham's system, the free safety isn't just another piece. It's the centerpiece of the secondary. It's the player responsible for reading quarterbacks, erasing deep mistakes, and keeping the back end of the defense organized. Right now, that role is wide open, and that's dangerous. The AFC isn't forgiving. Not when you're facing the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. Against quarterbacks like that, hesitation means disaster. You either have a safety who can take command of the field, or you get picked apart. There's no middle ground. And while names like Justin Simmons, Julian Blackmon, Jordan Whitehead, and Quandre Diggs may not spark a frenzy, they offer exactly what the Raiders need: experience, consistency, and leadership. Each brings not just skills, but trust. Quandre Diggs, for example, earned that trust across 5 disciplined seasons under Pete Carroll. That kind of reliability doesn't just happen, it's built. But safety isn't the only quiet threat lurking in the Raiders' defense. Another crack is forming just one layer closer to the line of scrimmage. The slot cornerback position, often overlooked, is currently a revolving door. And in today's NFL, where quick throws and pre-snap movement dominate, that's a vulnerability the Raiders simply can't afford. Vegas has tried plugging the leak with temporary fixes, experimenting with safeties at nickel during OTAs just to see who can hold up. But that's not a long-term solution. That's survival mode. The answer could be a player like Mike Hilton, a proven nickel with over 120 games of NFL experience and a consistent record of success. He's a technician who understands the nuances of motion, zone switches, and quarterback tendencies. More importantly, he brings a leadership presence the secondary currently lacks. If the middle of the field collapses, if the slot becomes an easy target, then everything around it breaks too. It's not just about coverage, it's about control. The Raiders can't afford to build a defense that functions only when healthy. They need durability, they need leadership, and above all, they need players who won't need coaching every snap. Linebacker is the next domino. It's the most reactive position in football, and the Raiders are hoping speed and youth can make up for experience. Players like Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindenberg, and Amari Gaynor bring promise. But promise doesn't equal performance. At the moment, this group is one injury away from a full-blown crisis. That's why veterans like Devin White and Elandon Roberts will need to do more than lead. They'll need to carry. Still, even with White and Roberts expected to anchor the room, there's a thin line between upside and instability. That's why the Raiders could benefit from a stabilizer like Jawan Bentley, a player molded in New England's no-nonsense system who brings leadership, toughness, and playoff experience. Because in today's AFC, one blown coverage or missed read against a mobile quarterback or a top-tier tight end can cost you the game. As the Raiders assess the heart of their defense, the question of linebacker depth is only part of the story. The final layer, the edge rush, might be the most volatile. On paper, it looks strong. Max Crosby is a force of nature, one of the league's most relentless pass rushers, and a tone setter for the entire team. But the concern isn't Crosby, it's everything around him. Tyree Wilson, last year's first-round pick, still hasn't fully found his rhythm. His talent is undeniable, but he's a projection. Still raw, still learning how to thrive at NFL speed. On the opposite side, Malcolm Kuntz showed flashes last season but remains inconsistent. Beyond that, the cupboard is nearly bare, and in a division featuring Mahomes, Herbert, and now Bo Nix's quick strike offense in Denver, that kind of uncertainty off the edge can be a recipe for disaster. That's why the Raiders should seriously consider bringing in a veteran closer. Someone like Jadeveon Clowney or Shaquille Barrett could instantly elevate the pass rush room, not just with production, but with presence. Clowney logged 15 sacks over the last 2 seasons and brings a unique blend of strength and explosiveness. He's played in multiple systems and brings a discipline honed under Pete Carroll, who now happens to be part of the Raiders' leadership structure. Barrett, meanwhile, comes with a championship pedigree from his time in Tampa Bay. He understands playoff football and, perhaps more importantly, understands how to finish games. This isn't just about sack totals, it's about situational football. The NFL is won and lost on third downs, 2-minute drills, red zone stands. And if the Raiders expect their young pass rushers to carry the full weight of a 17-game season, they're playing with fire. A veteran presence allows Tyree Wilson to grow without being overexposed. It lets the defense rotate effectively, staying fresh when it matters most. And yet, perhaps the most surprising development of the offseason isn't happening with the veterans at all. It's happening with the rookies. This incoming class isn't just showing up, they're setting the tone. From Ashton Jeanty's relentless work ethic to Dante Thornton Jr.'s jaw-dropping athleticism, the Raiders' rookie group has arrived with purpose. Even Darian Porter, a lesser-known name, has already drawn public praise from Max Crosby. That's not common, that's a sign. It goes deeper than just talent. 9 of the Raiders' 11 draft picks were college team captains. That wasn't a coincidence. It's a statement from assistant GM John Spytek and Pete Carroll. They're building a locker room with culture in mind. No more placeholders, no more short-term bandages. This is about creating a foundation that lasts. Players like Cam Miller and Jack Beck, despite being late-round picks, are already playing with the kind of poise and confidence that hints at long-term value. But even with the surge of rookie momentum, questions remain. What happens if a veteran goes down? Can these young players carry the weight of a full defensive scheme under pressure? Can leadership by committee hold when the stakes rise in December? These aren't minor hypotheticals, they're stress points. And in a division as brutal as the AFC West, one bad quarter can derail an entire season. And that's why the Raiders' next move might be the most important of all. With their cap space, they have the rare opportunity to address one of these vulnerabilities before the rest of the league even wakes up. But they can't fix everything. They'll have to choose. Do they go after a veteran safety to stabilize the back end? Do they bring in a slot corner to stop the bleeding in the middle of the field? Or do they add a proven pass rusher to protect their young core? It's a defining question, and the answer could shape the season. If they hit on the right addition, the Raiders won't just be plugging a hole. They'll be signaling to the entire league that this team isn't waiting for a rebuild to finish. They're ready to compete now because with the right leadership, the right veterans, and the right blend of youthful fire and experience, this isn't just a feel-good offseason. It's the beginning of something real. So here's your call. If you could make one final move, just one, who would it be? A field general safety like Justin Simmons? A technician in the slot like Mike Hilton? Or a game wrecker on the edge like Clowney or Barrett? Drop your pick in the comments, because if the Raiders get this next step right, they're not just building a roster, they're building a problem for the rest of the NFL.